Sorry, guys, I've got bad news. Kansas governor passes law requiring ID to view acts of homosexuality online. Vetoes anti-LGBTQ plus bill. So truly the enlightened centrism of you know, gubernatorial acts here. Yeah, really tossing you know, your in both sides of the fence. The governor of Kansas, who is, I believe, a Democrat, yes, a Democrat governor of Kansas, vetoed an anti-queer bill while simultaneously letting a law pass requiring ID to view acts of homosexuality. So that's cool. She also let pass, without her signature, a law requiring age verification to view content, quote, harmful to minors. Under Kansas criminal law, materials harmful to minors include nudity and sexual content, which is defined in part as, quote, acts of masturbation, homosexuality, or sexual intercourse. So yep, it is that straightforward, guys. The law, which will go into effect July 1st, requires users to share their government-issued identification. Yep, it's another one of those, in order to view adult content. So, again, you need to provide your ID in order to verify that you are an adult and therefore able to view homosexuality. So, nice, you know? This could theoretically apply to family-friendly media with queer characters, queer charities, community resources, or even medical websites that include information on gender and sexuality. Yep, like that one author episode with the two gay guys. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, websites can be fined up to $10,000 for each instance a minor accesses their content, and parents are allowed to sue for damages of at least $50,000. Or another way of putting it is, websites just aren't going to let you access their shit in Kansas. This is how you destroy any kind of queer advocacy, is that you make it impossible to operate any kind of queer advocacy group in these states, you know? Kelly, that's the governor, did not comment on the age verification bill, but gave justification for each of her vetoes. She said that a ban on gender-affirming care for minors tramples parental rights and targets a small group. She vetoed a similar bill last year, and the legislature did not have the votes to override it. So we really are getting like the enlightened centrist approach here, where she's like, you know, I stand for the gender-affirming care of minors, but also you need a government ID to access homosexual content online. Lawmakers were able to override Kelly's veto on an anti-trans school sports bill last year. Her veto of a bill ending the state's legal recognition of changes in gender identity was also overwritten, meaning that trans people can no longer change their sex in their driver's licenses or birth certificates in the same state. Did she just not read it? Honest to God, Mad Hatter, being very, very cynical, I wonder if she's only vetoing the stuff that she feels is going to get passed by the legislature anyway. And the reason she didn't veto this law requiring ID to view acts of homosexuality is because she didn't know whether or not it'd be able to get, like, past her veto, you know? I don't know, man. It's pretty evil. Does anywhere explain how they quantify homosexual acts? No. Well, you think they're going to be reasonable with their with the discretion on that? Trust me, okay? If Kansas criminal law says homosexuality is adjacent to acts of masturbation and sexual intercourse, okay, they mean anything gay. Otherwise, they could just keep the nudity, sexual intercourse, sexual content, and acts of masturbation. Like, why would you need to add homosexuality here? Anything sexual involving homosexuals is covered by the other things here. Two dudes hand-holding, and that's harmful? Yes. The minority leader of the Kansas Senate, Democrat Dina Sykes of Topeka, told The Advocate earlier this month that she's concerned Republicans will have the votes to override Kelly's vetoes this time around. Yeah, I wonder if the only reason she let that through is because... Dems are famous for not reading legislation, Vaush. Jon Stewart did a whole piece on lazy Dem politicians getting taken advantage of by right-wing politicians. That's why I guess before her not reading. I don't know if I believe that, but it might be. It could be she's just like old and lazy. Hold on, let me do a quick vibe check, okay? Hold on. I still think she's evil. She's very old. She's like 75. It's evil to be this bad at your job, okay? Think of what kind of Democrat would be able to win in Kansas. Vaush Kansan here, the legislation passed with a bipartisan supermajority. It was going to be made into law whether or not she vetoed. Then why wouldn't she veto? At least for the performative element. She vetoes other stuff that's going to go through. Vaush, this is clearly unenforceable, right? Have we seen any examples of fines or lawsuits issued as a consequence of the Texas style, or you got a license for that thing? Have we seen any examples of that yet? I'm sure it's, well, wait, have those laws gone into effect yet? They might not have gone into effect yet. Guys, I don't know whether or not this is enforceable. Like, think about it, okay? Material harmful to minors, which includes homosexuality. Let's see. Websites can be fined up to $10,000 for each instance a minor accesses their content, and parents are allowed to sue for damages of at least $50,000. Guys, this would block YouTube. Like, this would block all social media. You can't block YouTube. There's no way. This would block Google News. Yeah, it's unenforceable. I don't think it's enforceable. This might just get shot down by a district court. You know, we'll see. Do you count as homosexuality? Yes. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but yes. The law says, alongside terms like acts of masturbation, homosexuality itself, not acts of homosexual sex, not like advocacy for gay marriage. Homosexuality is right up there with sexual intercourse. It's just being gay in any kind of visible, evident way. Yeah, Thana, but also things have been getting wackier lately. Remember, the very last stream that we did, we covered the Supreme Court failing to overrule the lunatic decision from the 5th District Court, saying that in, what was it, Tennessee, Texas, and some other state, if you hold a political protest, you are legally culpable for any actions taken by any attending that protest. And the Supreme Court, like the Fifth Circuit, like validated that. The Supreme Court didn't take the case. So I guess it doesn't really matter whether or not something is enforceable or like legally defensible or whatever. If the wrong district court or the wrong people in the district court end up affirming this and the Supreme Court doesn't challenge it, or worse, affirms it. SCOTUS puts a stay on 5th decision upholding Texas's ban on pornographic website. Oh, from yesterday. Great. Shadow docket application requesting stay of 5th Circuit ruling that upheld a Texas law. 5th Circuit again, by the way. Keep an eye on these guys. They're the wackiest circuit court of them all. That upheld a Texas law requiring age verification for porn websites. Plaintiffs say law restricts expression due to adults' rational fear of identity theft, tracking, and extortion. That's pretty reasonable, I feel, you know? How long do you think it would take for them to get to this? What would even be the process for age verification in this case? I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Democrats didn't care about this passing in Kansas because they're hoping it gets picked up by a court. It might actually be the easiest way to prevent these. Well, if it went through, it would have gone through anyway, right? Because of the, it would have gone through anyway, right? Because of the legislature would have gone through on 2/3. You know? Look at him. Not a care in the world. You don't even know what the Fifth Circuit District Court is. You don't even know. He hid. I can't get him now. He wants to play. What was I saying? Oh yeah, please remember that based on the language of this law, it's not like the cops would go after you if you saw homosexual stuff online. It's that the website hosting it would be fined or potentially sued for failing to secure your ID beforehand. Feel free to, Nerd Deck, though I can't promise I'll cover it twice. What can be done about the 5th Circuit? I can't answer that question. It makes these children feel so different and feel like outcasts, and that's just so cruel, Syke said. I worry these kids and their parents won't feel as safe in Kansas. They'll move to other states, and it's a loss for our state. Like, unironically, long-term, assuming that the worst doesn't happen and that we don't end up getting, like, you know, the great happening and democracy falling apart or whatever, this stuff really fucks over red states in the long run. Like, keep in mind, there is no state in this country that does not have cities packed with progressive blue voters, you know? It's really just a matter of proportions. And those cities are the fountains of wealth for those states, you know? Like, money comes from cities. That's where the economy happens. So, you know, the more people leave there to blue states, the more, you know, the more of a sort of disproportional bias there's going to be. Oh, OBGYNs are already gone too. Yeah, and they're probably not going to come back, right? Why would they operate in a state where their right to practice their profession could be yoinked from them at any, you know, any moment? This feels like a free speech contradiction. Why block a site from providing no offensive material for political purpose? The right really doesn't even pretend to care about free speech anymore. That's not even that they've more or less like completely abandoned. The only person who still like repeats it over and over is Elon Musk. That's it. Elon Musk, like somebody will ask like, hey, Elon Musk, why did you lie to your investors and then slam your dick in a car door? And he'll go, because The freedom of speech, well, because I had to protect freedom of speech. But like the rest of the right doesn't really do this anymore. It's pretty much just an Elon thing at this point. Yeah, it's an outdated talking point. A lot of the tech growth in Texas has stopped because of the laws. Florida's getting a massive brain drain on teachers and doctors. Yeah, we've gone over that. It's going to keep happening. It's going to be pretty funny. Continue to be pretty funny. But Elon doesn't care about free speech. They never have. They like the right. But also you can they, them, anyone. That's the nice thing about that pronoun. It's the gender neutral one.